Today I will be reviewing the Runna app, which just coincidentally got acquired by Strava for an undisclosed amount. And what's funny is that they actually paired together pretty nicely. But Runna is a training app specific platform, but it also can track your runs in general. It could record your runs similar to a Strava. But if I had to do like a Venn diagram of like training plan versus tracking your runs, Runna is really in the training, Strava is really in the tracking. And Nike Run Club sits in the middle, and then Coach Pennant is like a smaller circle towards the middle. And Runna helped me get my 5K PR, so that fact alone gives it a lot of credibility. But there are some caveats because I used Runna for about 2 weeks, and using it is used loosely because I kind of did my own training plan with using it as a guide. So Runna allows you to do a 2-week free trial, which is what I did, and they allow you to train for any race distance from 5K to a half marathon to a marathon distance if you want. And you get to choose what level you want to be, if you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced plus, there's an option. And you could set roughly what type of mileage you've been doing, how many times you want to run per week, how many days of the week you can run, what rest days you want to enforce. And it also allows for a full-on weight training schedule, whether you want to be just all around or just running specific, and then you could pick which days and how much you want to do per like session in minutes, things like that. And when picking a race distance, you can actually pick a specific race if it's popular enough. Since I was doing a local 5K, there was no way it was popping up in the search results. If you're going to like a world major or any other more popular marathon, you just type it into like the race search bar, and then boom, you already have your end date for the marathon there. And Runna knows if it's like a hillier marathon, then it's going to incorporate hilly training throughout the plan. So when it came to my 5K PR was 17:26. I thought getting that or faster was ambitious, so I put a 17:45 into the running 5K planner, and then it spit out, okay, here's a plan for you to get around, I think, 17:35 to 18 flat. And two things stuck out to me right away, which kind of led me to not follow this training plan. One, I really want to be slowly increasing my mileage week to week right now because I'm about to enter a marathon build and I just want to have a nice foundation of fitness. But the Runna app does not have that like long-term expectation of a future marathon. It's only like the immediate race goal. So it just programmed me to like start to taper 2 weeks out for 5K. And as like a veteran runner who's been running for close to a decade now, I know that you can taper for a marathon in just like 2 to 3 days. I don't need a full 2-week taper, but it was trying to taper me for 2 days. And it was also doing less mileage than I wanted it to. And even when I said that like I was doing like the max mileage, I wanted to do like 65 miles a week, there was no way for you to just like pick a minimum mileage distance per week, which was one slight flaw that led me more to creating my own thing with aspects of the app. The two things I disagreed with a training philosophy standpoint was the amount of mileage and just how quick of a taper it was for a 5K. And those two things, they don't have variable adjusters in the app. I mean, pretty much like everything has a variable adjuster. Like I already mentioned, like you can set what days you want to run, how many days you want to run, whether you're on running outdoors or on a treadmill, so you can get the miles per hour, whether you want it to be kilometer or miles focused. Like there's so many fine-tuned adjustments, but not in those weird veteran standpoint where you want to aim for something in the long term, but you're trying to train for a race in the short term. It's just like this weird like too hot, too cold, middle type ground. And this could just be me because I tend to overdo it in like my weight training and my running, I guess, compared to most people. Because I think most people, especially like intermediates, will take the best advantage of this app. I think for beginners, it might be too intimidating slightly, and Nike Run Club's a little bit more beginner friendly, and then Strava is just like free roam, open world. So for the weight training aspect of Runna, It does give you like a full weight training schedule. But the max days that you can do for weight training is 4. And I do 5 on my own already, so I couldn't follow the training plan from there. And that was the first step. And number 2 is that there's an all-around and then a running focus mode. But there's not just an upper body focus mode, which is actually the weight training I tend to do, which is kind of counterintuitive because it doesn't really help my running that much as it could be, but that's not really my focus. It's more for aesthetics. So that's another thing I just couldn't agree with the training plan. And then also like Runna is not like a very like bench press, deadlift, squat, which is like the 3 foundational things in weight training that I tend to like, just to like see where my progress is. And then Runna is just like, let's just do random exercises every day. We don't really need a specific pattern of bench press 2 times a week or squats. Let's just send it. And yeah, I mean, it definitely hit all muscle groups. It was doing some calf exercises, some abs, and some more like agility type stuff, which I think is important, but I get that more from playing active sports like basketball or football. And Runna had a lot of options. It just not really my type of thing. So this is just a lot of me coming into like not quite agreement with Runna's giving me, because I've been in running and weight training now for so long. Along the way, Runna was definitely a good motivator. For every workout, there would be like this coach that could literally just be AI generated. What do I know? That would like give you advice on how to approach a specific workout. And was that helpful to me at all? No. But is Strava AI helpful to me right now? No. So I do have to say, in general, I did like the amount of notifications it gave you. It told you like the morning of what your workout for the day is going to be. So if it's like a 7.5 mile run, it'll tell you that. And then it'll give you some kudos, some congratulations, some felicidades después de correr. And I thought that was pretty neat. There's been some studies out there that says like having a coach actually pushes you to perform better. And I don't have my own Olympic marathon head coach like Connor Manson, Clayton Young.
I think we averaged about that. So let's.
Nice. 316. Ready, go.
Or a Jeff Cunningham. But I do have access to tools like this with Runna, and that gives access to get better for millions of people out there. I don't know how many people use the platform, but I don't think it's a coincidence that Strava is buying it now at the same time as me using it, because it's been picking up steam recently. And I do have to say, the Runna app did push me, not in terms of mileage, but in terms of the workouts itself. So the first workout, because I'm not going to talk about the easy runs, because I actually really didn't follow it for the easy runs. Like, it told me to do like a 5 mile run like 4 days before the 5K race. I'm like, I'll be fine doing 8 miles. So I'm not going to talk about the easy runs, because easy runs are easy runs, or how Runna likes to say, conversational pace, zone 2, whatever type of adjectives you want to apply to it. But for the first Runna workout I did, it was a 16 by 400 meter run, basically split into 2 sets. You run the first 8 400s and then have a longer rest, and then run the second half of the workout. And going into this workout, I knew it was going to be challenging, but doable. And by the end of it, I was like, yeah, if I didn't have Runna, I probably wouldn't have pushed myself this hard. I probably would have done 12 reps. Would it have been a good stimulus for me? Yes, but maybe I wouldn't have gotten a personal record. And I also incorporated, Runna recommended me to do like a hilly workout. I never did the hilly workout specifically what it said, but I just ran the 5K course with that hill just to mentally prepare me for the hill that I had to face on race day. And then the other third workout that I followed with Runna, because it gave me 3 weeks, but I only had 2 weeks of using Runna, so I just like picked apart the different workouts. And so the third workout I did was a taper 9 by 400 meters, and one of the reps I got like sub 5 minutes per mile average interval pace for that specific 400 and I was like, ooh, I'm in shape. So I actually did follow the taper a little bit. I did a taper speed workout the week of the race day, and I thought, okay, let's see how this works. And I mean, it turned out all fine. There's definitely concerns online what's going to happen with Runna now that Strava bought it. And for now, they're going to remain independent apps. I don't believe long term this will be the place, because yes, right now they're two basic $10 and $12 a month subscriptions. So the question is, like, do you have two good apps or one super app if you combine the two? And then do you raise the subscription to like $15 because it includes more? I don't know the business analytics on that, but I imagine that probably a year or two down the line, Runna is going to be absorbed into Strava in its very own Runna or Train tab on the bottom, and it'll just incorporate a lot of the Runna features. Probably replace like those coaches with like Strava AI, because that's just easier. They want to slap AI on everything, and just rebrand it with the Strava orange. And I think that would do well for Strava to be like the super app for running. And as far as I believe, I don't think there was a biking or swimming or triathlon training plan. I could be wrong though. So that's something that Runna or Strava could help Runna add to their app. Overall, I'm not going to subscribe to Runna as of this point, but I would be willing to subscribe here and there, especially if it gets more advanced plus or veteran type improvements that like you could set your mileage. Like if I want to do 90 miles a week, I'm like, I can force the Runna app to schedule me to 90 miles a week. I mean, what type of freaks are doing that? Very, very few freaks, but that might be the type of freak I want to be in running in the future. I never know. So I really like Runna. I definitely would recommend it to other runners, especially if you have the money. And why not give the free trial a try? I think training plans are always good. When I went to my first marathon, I followed a paper training plan that I bought from somebody else. So what different is a app-based training plan? Not really much, if it does all the same things you want to do and gets you to your goal. So that's all I have to say about Runna, and I'll see you out there.